Welcome to the series of tutorials on GHS model creation. Tutorial 210 will focus on model creation tools. So looking at this summary, this is not the summary of everything that will be done in this tutorial. This is actually the summary of all the various elements of information that are necessary for model creation. So in this tutorial we'll be focusing on an overview of the tools that you can use to create GHS geometry files. And then in later tutorials, we'll go into the organization of those geometry files. It's important to understand their actual structure. We'll cover hull parts, tank parts, sail parts, creating parts with PartMaker, and general properties. All of those will come in later tutorials. First, a quick disclaimer so that I don't end up with a lawsuit. This presentation is for instruction only. It's not to be used in engineering or construction. I am not a representative of Creative Systems. This presentation is not endorsed by Creative Systems, and I make no claims of accuracy to the latest version of the GHS software. If you're interested in the official training for GHS, contact Creative Systems. You can look up their website, www.ghsport.com, or contact them directly via phone or email. So the first thing we need to talk about are what are the tools that are available for creating a GHS geometry file. And just to clarify a little bit, the way GHS works is that you have a geometry file. This contains the definition of your vessel, things like the tanks, the floodable spaces, the hull shape, the margin line, certain elements like that, all things that are inherent to the specific vessel. And then GHS uses that vessel with a series of run files and commands to perform different analyses. So clearly step one to any analysis is you first have to create a geometry file that models your vessel. Now maybe you got the file from your client, but maybe you need to modify it. Maybe you need to create it from scratch. There are a whole bunch of options. And these tools here are the tools in your toolbox that you would use to create those files. So the first tool that we're going to talk about, well, before I go into details, just a quick overview. So you have Rhino, DeadWhite, and PartMaker. Rhino is a third-party product that you'll find very useful. DeadWhite is a free product, and PartMaker is already built into GHS. We'll go a little bit more into information about each one of those. So Rhino. You can buy this from rhino3d.com. When I last checked, they were retailing for around $1,000. If you are a student, you can get them for a cheaper price than that. But Rhino is much more than just an add-on to GHS. It's actually a program in its own right, a 3D modeler styled very much like AutoCAD. It is a paid software, as I said, but it's used to generate geometry. And one of the tools included in Rhino is that you can use a command called the attach GHS command, and that basically lets you take a object that you've created in Rhino as a general 3D object and add in the extra information that you need to organize that geometry into a GHS geometry file. So you don't have to use this to work with GHS, but I will say that if you get to the point where you start creating any geometry files from scratch, this will literally save you days of effort. You can generate ships with this very, very quickly. So I highly recommend it if you're looking for an efficient solution. DeadWhite is a geometry inspection software. It's only used for viewing the GHS model. You can't actually create anything in it. The good news is it's a piece of free software. And somebody created this quite a while ago. You can download it at www.deadwhite.com. And the really nice part about this is that it provides slightly better visualization than you would find in a native GHS window. And that's very useful for checking the organization of your geometry file and for checking to see if you've defined permeabilities correctly. So it's really useful as a method of QA to ensure that you've defined your geometry file correctly. And then the last piece of software is PartMaker. And I really want to get an idea across real well first, is that PartMaker is better thought of as a part editor. It works best to edit some sort of starting geometry file to add features to it, add tanks to it, and that's where you'll find PartMaker works really well. It is part of GHS, so you get it already when you buy GHS. That also means that it's command driven, it's mostly text entry. The really nice part about PartMaker though is, number one, you can use run files to work with it. But number two, because of the command driven features, you can really put in some really advanced customization of geometry models, and it gives you a lot of control. Now, if you were to ask me which one of these three tools should you use, I would really say that you should use all three of these tools: Rhino, DeadWhite, and PartMaker. If you can afford the budget, get comfortable using all three of them. If you're on a tighter budget, certainly download DeadWhite, and PartMaker is of course included in your geometry or in your purchase of GHS. So certainly though, an efficient GHS use will involve all three of these tools working together. And we'll go into a little bit more detail later about how to use each one of these. So, for now, we're going to finish off with a bit of homework. The homework for 211 is to download DeadWhite, then download the homework 211 file. In there you will find a file called homework211.gf. It's a bar geometry file. Open that geometry file with DeadWhite. Explore the different views in DeadWhite, look at the different ways to look at the geometry model. You can turn shading on and off, you can look at different views, different angles of view, and then you can also turn tanks on and off, so turning off individual parts. And I want you to locate the hull part which has a negative displacement. That is, it has a negative permeability assigned to it. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you found it informative. Have a good day.
Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. Hey, did you know that there is a magic button down below? Click the like button or even the subscribe button, and I will make more videos for you.